This is a Fox News alert in the 1 o'clock hour up on Capitol Hill. The House is going to vote on the American Health Care Act. According to the people who count the noses, they have exactly on the button the number of Republicans to pass it, which would be as good as they can get to repeal and replace Obamacare.
So Newt Gingrich joins us right now. He knows what it's like to pass major pieces of legislation and have to maybe beat everyone about the side of their head to get it done. Mr. Speaker, is this going to be a good day for Republicans?
It probably is, although you don't actually beat him around the head. You do what President Trump did yesterday with Fred Upton, who's a very important leader. He listened to him. He found out what Upton's problem was. They developed an amendment that solves that problem. We now have preconditions, I think, pretty decisively taken care of. So everybody who's worried back home about making sure that if they have a precondition, they can still get health insurance is going to be assured that this has been done exactly as the president campaigned last year. If this does work today, and I'm really looking forward to this vote, it's an extraordinary moment. If this does work, it's a tribute really to President Trump, first of all, because he has personally weighed in, listened to people, thought it through. The art of the deal is applied to legislation. Speaker Ryan never backed down. He kept working at it despite how difficult it was. And frankly, Mark Meadows of the Freedom Caucus, who came right back and said immediately when the first bill failed, look, we want to get something done. We're not opposed to getting something done. And Mark Meadows held open the door with the president to a conversation that ultimately may well produce a bill today. If it passes today, it'll be an extraordinary achievement. I candidly didn't think they could do it. I thought they'd have to come back for another month or two and continue to work. So this is a great breakthrough if it happens this afternoon.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. What does it mean for the people that are watching, for America?
Well, it means we're going from a system that's disintegrating. I mean, Obamacare in state after state is falling apart. In Knoxville, Tennessee, thousands of people won't be able to buy insurance. Insurance company after insurance company is announcing that they're withdrawing from Obamacare. You know, people can talk about preconditions. If you can't buy any insurance, you don't have any protection for anything. And in lots of, I think in 1/3 of American counties now, we're down to one insurance company left. So Obamacare was collapsing, except in the big cities. And the fact is that this is a great breakthrough moment. It means we're going to move towards more choices for people. We're going to move towards more honesty in actually being able to afford the insurance. We're going to guarantee that people with preconditions are covered.
Is this going to be a good plan, Mr. Speaker? We don't know the details yet. If it's a bad plan, it could spell the end of the House for Republicans. If it's a good plan, it would lock them in.
Well, if it's a bad plan, it's going to be fixed in the Senate, but I think it's a good plan. Look, this has improved. The truth is, this bill got better by not passing initially. They have had some very good modifications in this bill. It increases the range of choice. It increases freedom for the states. It lets the governors manage Medicaid much better. It allows people to have a greater guarantee that they'll be covered even with preconditions. This is a stronger, much stronger plan than it was a month ago, and that's the way the legislative process should work. If it passes today, of course, it goes to the Senate, and we'll see how much of this the Senate can then pass. But I think this will be, for President Trump, a tremendous breakthrough on what was really the only thing that people said he didn't get done in the first 100 days. So if this now gets done, maybe it took 107 days, but he's getting there.
Are you suggesting that the Republicans actually read what was in the bill?
Oh, look, there are a lot of people who know what's in the bill. I mean,
no, I'm saying, remember Nancy Pelosi said, let's pass it, let's don't read it, let's pass it, and then we'll read it and decide what needs to change.
This has been the opposite of the way they rammed through Obamacare. This thing has now been drawn out so long. So many experts have read it and taken it apart. So many people have written about it that I think actually members today will probably know more about the bill than they could possibly have known a month ago. And as I said, the senators are also taking this very seriously. I know a whole group of Republican senators who have been meeting regularly every week, thinking this through at their, not staff level, the senators themselves. People understand this is really a big deal to get us back on a track of a better health system. And I think there's a real determination to try to get it done this spring.
All right, let's switch gears, talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton. A couple of days ago, she was very honest. She was talking about her humiliating loss. She said she takes absolute personal responsibility, Newt, but at the same time, she continues to blame Russia, James Comey, you name it, it's somebody else's fault.
Well, I was watching earlier today, you had the two authors of Shattered on. I've been reading their book. And I said it's like watching a car wreck in slow motion. I mean, it is just unbelievable. I think they started to write the book to cover the election of the first woman president. And by the time election night was over, they realized they had a totally different book. You know, look, Hillary is sad. I mean, she can't come to grips with reality. She can't come to grips with reality about her server, her emails, the Clinton Foundation, all the different things that swirled around her. And I think she can't come to grips with having lost. I mean, somebody needs to sit her down and counsel her. You know, they got to say to her, Hillary, you lost. Not Comey, not the Russians, you. And of course, she spent her whole lifetime wanting to become president, and I don't think it's going to happen.
So having Newt Gingrich criticize Hillary Clinton is not a big deal. Having Bill Maher do it is, and having David Axelrod say this, to me, is significant.
Jim Comey didn't tell her not to campaign in Wisconsin after the convention. Jim Comey didn't say, don't put any resources into Michigan until the final week of the campaign. She never fully was willing to take responsibility for her mistakes, particularly that server. She said the words, I'm responsible, but everything else suggested that she doesn't really feel that way.
Wow. That's called backlash. Am I correct?
Well, look, remember, Axelrod was part of the team that beat her in 2008.
That's right.
And Axelrod's a very smart guy. I like him a lot. He has a great institute at the University of Chicago. But the fact is, there ain't no love lost.
Yeah.
I think the serious Obama people feel really betrayed by the sloppiness, the corruption, the incompetence of Clinton and her campaign. And I think they're dismayed that instead of consolidating what Obama tried to do, it's now being taken apart by Trump because she failed.
So speaking of
That's
President
part of
Trump,
what you're getting.